Aloha, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about a real game changer for home cocktails, and it's called Super Juice. And it sounds crazy, but you know what? You're not going to find this in the supermarket. You have to make it yourself. This is a way to really stretch your limes when they're $1 a piece in the off season and get 4 to 5 times as much out of it. Not only that, your cocktails are going to taste fantastic. Now this concept isn't new. Nickel Morris, mixologist, had invented this around 2015 or so. Garrett Richard talks about it in his book Tropical Standard, which is acid adjusting, and Darcy O'Neill, and probably a lot of others. They all talk about acid adjusting the lime juice so it's consistent when the limes aren't as fresh or when they're too tart or not tart enough. But this is a way to really keep the lime juice for weeks in advance. And the first time I heard about this was on a message board called Spirits and Cocktails. The dilemma was I was supposed to host a party for my wife's birthday, and we had about 50 friends coming. So I had to have it at a catering hall. I didn't have access to a juicer. I had to prep everything a couple hours before we got there so that it was available and I could just start mixing cocktails. The problem is that once you juice a lime, it starts to oxidize and starts to get more tart or more sour. So you really don't want to do this too far in advance. And then if you do have any leftovers, you're probably just going to have to toss it out. So this is really the perfect solution. This could be made a week in advance, and I've been testing this with all the other cocktails I normally make. Now you can see some of it's gone. Of course, in a cocktail, you're only really using about an ounce at a time. And if you make a bottle of this, which holds about 15 ounces, you got 15 drinks there. So maybe they'll be done in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Who knows? Maybe if you're having a party, it'll be gone in a couple hours, so you want to make twice as much. But if you try this in simple cocktails like a daiquiri, you're going to taste a world of difference. I had it in my favorite, which is a Jet Pilot. I tried it in my Jack Rose recipe. Whatever calls for lime juice, use this instead and tell me it doesn't taste better. Now, it's not a simple process. I mean, the process itself is simple, but it's going to take you a couple hours of time. The first thing you want to do is get the freshest limes possible. It's with a good color skin. If you press them with your thumb and they're too hard, that means they're not any good. Get the freshest ones you could find. The next thing you want to do is get a vegetable peeler and peel them as well as you can without getting too much of the white part. That's called the pith, and the pith can be bitter. You don't want that part. You just want the green part, but it's not going to be possible to get only the green part and none of the white. You're going to want about 50 grams of these peels, which is about 4 limes. It's not going to be perfect, don't worry about that. But you could find a really economic scale that's very, very accurate that jewelers use, and it will weigh it down to 1/10 of a gram. You will need this for the citric and malic acids because they're such small amounts. And if you use a regular kitchen scale, there's no guarantee that it will be as accurate. Simply pour in all your malic and citric acid over the lime peels, gently muddle it, and allow it to sit for up to 2 hours. You're going to see that the malic and citric acids, that's what it's going to look like after 2 hours. Now you just want 500 milliliters of clean, fresh spring water. If you don't have something to measure it with, just look at one of the bottle labels and they will tell you that it's 500 milliliters. Add your water, add your lime juice, and give it a good stir. And go into the kitchen. And we're going to use the immersion blender to blend it well. Keep blending it, but don't blend it too long. But you do want to break up as much of these peels as possible. Then we want to double strain it into something we can pour from, like a measuring cup. And then we put it through the strainer again into a bottle. And we keep it in the fridge until it's ready to use. It's a very easy process. It might seem a little tedious, but trust me, not only is this going to taste much, much better, you're going to keep it much longer, and the cocktails are going to be fantastic. Plus, you're getting a lot more for your money. Use this super juice process and store it in the fridge for a party, even if that party is 2 or 3 weeks away. Now you can make this super juice with almost any type of fruit. You just have to know the level of acidity of that fruit. Lemons tend to slightly vary from the limes. Now, after 5 or 6 years of doing this, I realize I have a lot to learn, and every time I learn something, I want to share it with you. The whole purpose of this channel is to just make better cocktails at home, and this is one way to do it. So I hope to bring you a lot more useful information like this. So hit subscribe, hit the like button. I hope to see you again. Mahalo and cheers.
Isn't happy hour anytime?